Enzo kalaban ang katiwalian at kasinungalingan, kakampi sa katotohanan at kabutihan.
Grabe mga kabunyog ang naging banat nitong si Atty. Claire Castro dito kay Sara Duterte. Dahil po mga kabunyog tinawag po niya itong asal bata or isip bata. Dahil sa mga pangbabatikos nito sa mga ginagawa ng ating gobyerno. Na sa halip na tumulong na lang ito, panay panglalait pa ang ibinibigay niya. Anyway mga kabunyog, para po sa iba pang mga sinabi ni Atty. Castro laban dito kay Sara, panoorin po natin ito.
Kasi sa panayam po kay Vice President Sara doon sa Sambuanga, sinabi niya na posible daw yung bentahan ng 20 pesos na bigas. Pero ayaw niyang ibahagi kung paano gagawin yung pagbebenta ng 20 pesos na kada kilo ng bigas. Kasi ayaw niyang tulungan si Pangulong Marcos. Ano pong reaction dito ng Malacanang?
Lumalabas po kasi kung ano po ba talaga ang anyo ng ating Vice Presidente. Lumalabas ang tunay na kulay ng Vice Presidente bilang isang public servant. Sa pag-amin niya, na dito po ang kanyang sinabi, na imposible talaga ang 20 pesos na bigas, pero pwede siya. Hindi ko lang i-share sa inyo kasi ayaw kong tulungan si PBBM. Yan po ang tugon ni Vice Presidente ng Vice President. Sa pag-amin niya pong ito, na hindi niya i-share kung ano man ang kanyang kaalaman, kung mayroon man talagang kaalaman. Dahil nga sa ayaw niyang pagtulong sa ating Pangulong. Ito ay nagpapakita ng isang makasarili. Tandaan po natin, kung ano man po ang kaalaman na mayroon kayo, para sa taong bayan, ito po dapat ay agad-agad na isinasagawa at hindi po dapat ito tinatiming. Hindi ba na po naiisip ng Vice Presidente ang kapakanan ng taong bayan, lalo na po yung iba ay nahihirapang bumili ng bigas kahit na nga po mababa ang presyo ng bigas. Tandaan po natin, ang paglilingkod sa bayan ay hindi isang laro. Ang gobyerno, ang bansa ay hindi isang malaking playground. Huwag naman po sana maging asal bata ang Vice Presidente.
Yan mga kabunyog, narinig po natin itong mga sinabi ni Atty. Claire Castro sa kanyang press con. Ngayon mga kabunyog, may katotohanan ba itong mga pinagsasabi ni Castro? Na tila parang asal bata itong si Sara. Well mga kabunyog, kung maaalala po natin, may isang batikang abogado ang nagsabi na mayroon raw itong si Sara ng mental issue at hindi raw ito fit maging isang opisyal ng ating bansa. Tulad ng posisyon niya ngayon na Vice Presidente. Kaya dapat na raw itong matanggal sa kanyang pwesto. Anyway, balikan po natin itong naging pahayag niya.
Sa impeachment, you need 2/3 vote of the Senate.
16.
16 votes. So kung meron siyang 24 sila, if she gets 8 or 9, 8 votes. If she gets 8 votes that will vote against impeachment, and hindi siya mako-convict. So now, sabi nga ng there is wisdom in saying of us lawyers, no? If you're strong on the facts, focus on the facts. If you're weak on the facts, then focus on the law, whatever law that is. If you're weak on both the facts and the law, focus on the judge. Diba? Ganun yun. And if you're weak on all three, or you're uncertain of all three, start telling jokes. Stop telling jokes. Make a joke of the whole justice system. And that's what she's doing now. Yung mga, alam mo, Christian, I have great respect for stand-up comedians.
Yeah.
I move around in the entertainment circle. And it takes a lot of preparation. And it takes a lot to say a good joke or a bad joke. I've seen all of jokes. I've heard all of jokes. They are bad jokes.
Yeah.
To say something about somebody's liig, di ba?
Tsaka yung mansanas, grabe.
Mansanas, to push it down the throat until this person dies. That's a bad joke. Di ba? And she keeps joking about even this assassination attempt. She says it's a joke. Okay, then she calls herself, she makes herself a designated survivor. That's
Mm.
also a bad joke. Hindi ba? And I have a whole list of bad jokes. I mean, um, does she intend to replace the Joker? We know what happened to Joker, no? He died. He died from overdose of drugs after winning an Oscar award. But I don't think so. Kung wala namang ambisyon maging ah kung wala namang ambisyon maging stand-up comic ang presidente, stop these bad jokes. It is not serving the country well. It is not serve. It's you. It does not dignify your position. In fact, it is unethical under our canons. Under our canons, idadagdag ko lang na maybe I'm trying to understand where she's coming from. I've been, as I said, nasa practice ako for 47 years. I had all sorts of clients. I know what crazy looks like.
Does it look like that?
And it looks like that. And when we try to understand where she's coming from, kasi, for instance, I handle courtroom litigation. And it's very important not only what the witness says in court, but how the witness handles himself or herself as a witness. No? Kasi may telltale signs dyan. May mga telltale signs dyan of dysfunctionality or telling lies, etc. And I can see the telltale signs. Maybe because she comes from a dysfunctional family. She has kasi pag kunyari sa example, annulment case, di ba? Sa annulment case, you try to understand sino bang psychologically incapacitated dito. Is it the husband or the wife? And so you go to the roots. What was her past? Did she come from a dysfunctional family? And I put a check there. She comes from a dysfunctional family. Even her father says, hindi ko maintindihan yan. She's her own person. In fact, her father disagreed with her when she favored this chief of staff of hers, no? When she favored Attorney Sulweta, Attorney Lopez, who lacked the necessary 5 years to be appointed as city administrator of the city of Davao. Sabi ng tatay niya, hindi pwede yan. Wala pang 5 years yan. She insisted. So, even the father disagreed with her back then, in Davao when she insisted. So, talagang may disagreement sila ng father niya. So, broken family. And the other thing I also noticed is, where is she getting her advice from? Because she's blowing hot and cold. Nung nasa Hague siya, nakita natin yung change in demeanor niya, di ba, Christian?
Yeah.
She even thanked the president for what happened because it allowed her to reconcile, for reconciliation into that broken family. No? She welcomed her stepsister, and they became one family. She thanked the president. You could see that she was very calm, and then she became ballistic again. So I guess it's blowing hot and cold. That's the sign of crazy. That's the sign of dysfunction. Now, if she doesn't get parental guidance, because I don't think she's also close to her mother, she should, kasi marriage emancipates. When you get married, you are emancipated. People are asking, Teka, where is the husband in all of this? We haven't seen the husband in any official functions, not in the State of the Nation address, not in public functions, and so maybe also there is no guidance from or companionship from somebody who should be giving her advice, her spouse. So walang parental advice, walang spousal guidance. So she's on her own. Maybe what she needs, and I give this advice to my client, maybe what she needs, because I saw your show, no? I saw your show, one of your shows, when you critiqued her, when Senator Llamas said that, do you call him Edu?
Yeah, Edu Manzanas. Yeah.
Si Edu Manzanas.
Sometimes justice, sometimes commissioner, sometimes cardinal.
I just call him pangit.
Pwede rin.
when he commented, and one of your other guests commented that she seems to be enraged. She seems to be very angry and enraged, and that's why she's lashing at everybody. That's a sign of imbalance. In fact, I saw one other. I don't know. Uh, it was kasi meron akong nakita nakalagay. Even if the crowd, she was talking to the crowd, and this crowd was shouting BBM. So
Sa Manila. Manila yan.
that was in Manila when she was talking about Duterte and BBM, and and um, and and this shows you how dysfunctional she is now. In that ano in that campaign rally, she talked about what are the qualities. You saw that, no? What are the
Yeah, yeah.
qualities of good candidates? So meron siya
Yes.
tatlo.
Yeah.
Tatlong qualities of a good candidate. And I took note of that. Yung hindi daw, yung may track record daw, no? Hindi yung sasayaw, hindi yung entertainment, no? Ganon. Tapos yung hindi nagbabayad, hindi yung nagbibigay ng pera. Meron din siyang sinabi na ah, hindi dapat automatic ang endorsement. Pag in-endorse siya ng isang influencer people, hindi dapat automatic. So, three. Exactly. But when she was saying that, I said, she is exactly describing her candidates.
Yeah.
Di ba? So parang, and then she goes on to say, after she says, these are the qualifications of who you should vote for. Then she says, mag-block voting kayo. So parang dysfunctional, disjointed. So people were saying, ano ba yun? What's the word? When you have an out-of-body experience, lutang. Parang
Akala ko astral projection.
Parang she was an out-of-body experience. She was talking about this, and then she was looking at herself, and she says, "Oh, block voting na lang." Parang lutang. Anyway,
Attorney, sorry. Yung binabanggit nyo about the psychological makeup of the vice president, how important is that? Or is that even relevant dito sa upcoming trial? How do you see it?
it is very relevant because there is a Article 7, which really is what we call a catch-all article of impeachment, and this relates to fitness for public office. No? Is she really fit for public office? All of these, whether Article 1 on threatening, Article 2 on the confidential funds, Article 3 on bribery, Article 4 extrajudicial killings, lokhang and all that. No? All of these, even if this were not proven, there is still an Article 7, which really is a catch-all provision on betrayal of public trust and fitness for her continuing in public office. And I think and this is where it becomes relevant. When you show your emotions, your rage, when you use intemperate, you use abusive language, when you put people down, when you offensive, libelous language, that shows your emotional instability. Lutang nga eh. But not only when you are a public official and you refuse to account for your own duties, no? Kasi right now tinitignan niya yung mga campaign promises ng presidente. Tignan naman natin ano yung campaign promise niya as vice president. And I looked at that. No? She had several promises, and if you look at Wikipedia, if you see, she hasn't fulfilled any of them. Empowering women, small and medium enterprises. This is as office of the vice president, no? And creating stability, etc., creating jobs and all that. You look at her scorecard. So, if you look at that scorecard, she should be more worried about her performance and looking at president's performance. Um, and she also is part, remember, nag-investigate also on fake news, no?
Mm.
She is perpetrating fake news. Lumabas na merong sabina today or yesterday, she was being summoned by the Department of Justice because of a complaint filed by the NBI on similar circumstances as Article 1. No?
Mm.
Yung threats and inciting to sedition. And she said that she would comply. But together with that, she came out with the fake news. I don't know if it's fake news or if she was misled into believing that there was also a coming warrant for her arrest at the ICC.
Mm.
So creating disinformation. Yan. What does that show? It shows not only an emotional issue, a mental issue. Diba? If you cannot discern, as a public official, you must be able to discern well. On top of that, you are a lawyer. And you have to know the law. You have to know judicial process. She claims about there are many things.
Attorney, very.
Going back to your question, you think this is relevant? It is very relevant.
Okay.
Yung pagkakalutang niya, yung enrage niya, yung her
Okay.
emotional, her being dysfunctional is very relevant.
Okay. Basahin ko na sa viewers natin yung Article 7 para mas malinaw sa kanila. No? Ito yung the totality of respondents' conduct as Vice President, including her commission of the foregoing acts, clearly display conduct constituting a betrayal of public trust, culpable violations of the Constitution, and graft and corruption. Ngayon, kung pag pinag-usapan po ito sa trial, so tama ba? You will have to bring in psychiatrists and other experts to prove this. Tama po ba?
I think being experts is useful, but as lawyers say, no, one side brings an expert, the other side will also bring an expert. No?
Mm.
So this will be a quarrel between opinions of experts, and I don't think that's necessary, because res ipsa loquitur speaks for itself. Her
Okay.
actions speak for themselves. Her utterances speak for themselves. They speak to her mental and emotional unfitness to continue operating or to continue functioning as a vice president.
Bunyog, bunyog, halikan na kasama ka. Bunyog, kapag buklod ay may pag-asa. Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, isa ang pananaw. Sa bagong Pilipinas ang bunyog isisigaw. Bunyog, bunyog.